Ladies and gentlemen, as we continue exploring how conversational technologies are transforming citizen services, one of the most compelling examples of this transformation comes from the state of Andhra Pradesh. Through a simple message on WhatsApp, citizens can now navigate a menu-driven system, apply for services, receive digitally verified certificates, and interact with government systems in real time. Mana Mitra is a mobile-first governance initiative that brings services from multiple government departments onto a single WhatsApp interface. To showcase how this vision is being brought to life on ground, I request Sri Nara Lokesh ji to show us a short case study from Andhra Pradesh on Mana Mitra. Can we have the remote, please? Yes, sir. What we saw right now demonstrates how through initiatives like Mana Mitra, technology, when combined with strong government intent, thoughtful design, and inclusive accessibility, can fundamentally transform the way citizens interact with government systems. Now, to continue this momentum, I request Sri Nara Lokesh ji and Ms. Sandhya Devanathan to please join us again on stage as we move to a very special segment of the evening, an exclusive fireside chat that brings together leadership from government and technology on stage, offering valuable perspectives on the evolving role of technology and innovation in strengthening citizen engagement. It's an honor to present a conversation between Sri Nara Lokesh ji, Honorable Minister of IT and Minister of HRD, Government of Andhra Pradesh, and Ms. Sandhya Devanathan, Vice President India and Southeast Asia Meta. Please join me in welcoming the conversation on stage.
Hi, everyone. It's such a privilege to have all of you in the room today, and such a privilege to have you, sir, in the room as well. Thank you so much, Nara Lokesh ji, for taking the time to be here with us today. And we have a really exciting discussion because I remember this, when we first met, and I remember your vision for Andhra, for Mana Mitra that we talked about for the state of Andhra. And what you had talked at that time was one single WhatsApp number for all citizen services. And your goal was really simple, which was to simplify governance and enhance, citizen service accessibility. So could you talk about how you came up with this idea to begin with? Because this was quite transformative, because we were having some pilots, but this was the next leap.
No, thank you, Sandhya, for hosting me. The idea came about when I did my Padayatra, where citizens would ask me that I would push a button and I get groceries to home, or I get a taxi, or I can watch a movie. So why is government not proactive in delivering services? So it was actually an electoral promise that I made during my Padayatra that we'll bring all the citizen services onto a single platform and number and deliver on the promise of ease of living. So that's where this idea came about. So it was inspired by the experience that people of Andhra Pradesh were actually having across various other technology platforms. And then I realized that everyone loves WhatsApp in India. And that's when we reached out to Meta.
Yes.
And then we started the discussion.
And I remember the aggressive timeline you put as well for us. Do you want to talk
Well, I think
talk about that a bit?
I'm sure my Chief Minister will be watching this, and I'll get into a lot of trouble. We agreed to do this project in 60 days. It took us 90 days to launch. So if all of you have followed, Andhra is known for speed of doing business. But yes, I think we've started in the right direction. And I think we've really solved the basic problems that our citizens today face.
And I think just in terms of from the genesis of an idea to actual implementation, and trust me, 90 days is very fast, but Mana Mitra scaled rapidly. We started with 160 services in Feb last year. Now it's almost 900 citizen services and, increasing every day. A significant expansion, if I may say that, across multiple departments, all in a very short period of time. So would love to hear your, insights into the journey, because it's very rapid growth. A little about as you think about bringing all of these services online and your vision for this one number citizen services, a bit about the internal processes, the technologies and collaboration that would have had to be enabled, because I think we're a platform which enables it, but actually the real work gets done in the back end in terms of processes. And what mindset shifts were necessary? Because there was that as well, right? Because multiple different government teams, stakeholders, to transition from a very traditional service delivery to a citizen-centric digital, approach. And I think would love to hear from you on key learnings, key challenges, and how you approach this, because at the heart of it, it's still a simple solution to use.
I think biggest challenge is internal politics. Every department would like to control the experience, control data. But what makes things unique in Andhra Pradesh is we have something called real-time governance. It's actually a ministry. And I happen to be the minister of it. This is something our Chief Minister, Mr. Naidu, envisaged way back in 2016-17. And ever since, it's taken different forms. But now we've come out with a new avatar. But the biggest challenge was to bring everyone to come, sit, discuss, and then open up their AIs. So technology is merely an enabler of change, but real change should actually happen culturally. The cultural shift is important. So that's where I had to sit with the various ministers, ministries, secretaries to have a very open conversation that this is going to be a politically important subject for us. This is the mandate of our Honorable Chief Minister and we need to get it done. Then we had to work department by department. We said, first let's get the high sort of traffic services going and then work backwards to the more niche services which are used occasionally but are important for that few citizens who want to use it. So it was building that consensus, and of course, when we launched, the success that we've sort of delivered on the first 100-odd services, that really enabled us. It was a catalyst for every department to say, aha, this works, and this can transform.
Yeah.
And then this was part of our discussion in every cabinet meeting where the Chief Minister would also say that, okay, you're launching this service, make it WhatsApp first. So that's the approach that we've taken as a state. And I believe this is just the beginning. Before I came for the session, we were talking about how can we now go from menu-based to more AI-driven. How can you use, conversational AI? How can we use, of course, your call center, agentic AI, and deliver these services and build trust on the platform further? So, in that sense, I think the most important thing for all the secretaries here to the policymakers here is that political will is going to be very, very important to deliver this.
In fact, I remember one meeting where we had come down to Amravati as well, and I think the mandate was very clear from the Honorable Chief Minister and from you, sir, around how we make this across all departments, not make it small in scope, but over a period of time really add more and more services. And you're right, I think that kind of will across multiple departments with your leadership was really helpful.
No, I think if I can add, this is a question that I keep asking my team. So I'm also the HRD minister. I keep telling them, keep the child as center of our universe and then look at it from a policy. It puts things in perspective. Similarly, in RTG, I said, let's put the citizen as center of our universe, not the chief minister. General tendency is, what is the reports he needs or what do we need to do? I said, flip it. Let's keep the citizen as center of our universe. And then as departments, we're here to serve the citizen. And that sort of changed our entire thought process.
And the team really came together.
And they all came together. And of course, we continue to fight. Some of them resist change. A few of the temples are not yet on the platform. So it's a constant struggle that we'll have. But, greater part of the services have now come on board.
Awesome. And over the past months, since we launched Manamitra, what kind of feedback have you directly received from citizens and district officers on the ground? I know your WhatsApp keeps blowing up with feedback and messages. Are there any memorable examples or stories where a citizen reached out to you directly and shared about how their life was significantly transformed by accessing public services?
I think, hall tickets, I happen to be the HRD minister, so hall tickets, I didn't know, was so cumbersome. So this idea came from my citizens saying that, why don't you make it WhatsApp enabled from day one? And that simple transformation made it so much more easy for our kids to access hall tickets, and they didn't have to go to any other center or take printouts. It was so seamless. And I could see a flurry of messages that came after we launched this saying, thank you so much. It saved time, it saved energy, and this kind of summer, we don't need to go out. So it really helped in that sense. The other areas, paying utility bills was really transformative. And I continue to get feedback across board, where citizens, they get to know my number, they share their feedback, and they're very appreciative of our services. But what's even more exciting is once the citizen avails a service, we have a mechanism where we collect feedback from the citizen. So, and departments are ranked based on this feedback. My Honorable Chief Minister actually reviews this on a weekly basis. So there's an RTG meeting where he actually reviews this and he gives this feedback to the ministers and the secretary saying, okay, you've dipped or you've improved, this is how we can do better. And that has sort of enabled us to refine, fine-tune our services. That's why I was sharing, when we met, I was sharing that on a scale 1 to 10, where am I? I'm at 3. I need to now, really improve to the next level. Though my citizens have rated us at 8.5, 9, but as a minister, I believe that we can do better. We can really, unlock the potential of AI in that sense.
In fact, you're absolutely right in terms of just the vision and the ambition that you can have. I think AI enables a lot more of what you have planned in terms of citizen services at citizens' fingertips. And that's actually my next question, right? I think, one, you've become recently the first state government that formally incorporated WhatsApp governance in a state budget. And we saw that, come through this year. We already have conversations with your team. We're also in conversations with your team on how we can leverage AI for better experience for the citizens, and you just talked about that. So what new features or integration do you think, and you touched a little bit, maybe if you can elaborate, that can make Manamitra even more impactful for citizens? What's your vision there? And can you share with us how the state plans to integrate more advanced features, such as AI-powered personal assistant, predictive alerts, secure digital certificates on QR codes? There's a whole bunch of things technology now makes possible. So, and I know you're a technologist, so how do you think about that?
And as I was sharing, every industrial revolution has created more jobs than it has replaced. But it has created these jobs in geographies where they were ready for that industrial revolution. So it's imperative that India embraces AI and we actually lead the conversation. And that's where Andhra Pradesh is playing a significant role, starting from data centers to all the way to actually empowering citizens. Saying that, I believe that AI is here, and the entire data lake project is that where we are ensuring that the data gets tightly integrated and keeping, again, a citizen as center of our universe in terms of delivering services. That's where now AI is playing a much larger role. So once we issue a birth certificate, automatically a lot of things can sort of get integrated. That tracking, that ability to use the basic rule engine and actually deliver it and have the documents ready, though the citizen might ask for it or might not ask for it. But when they want it, it's there. And that's where I believe that AI is going to play a very, very powerful role. And that's what I believe is the next wave in terms of what we are going to do in Andhra Pradesh. Saying that, what excites me is the conversational AI bit, our ability to empower citizens and not go through, we've done the menu bit, so which I call version 1.0. And now we need to do the 2.0 in the next 90 days. And, using AI just to...
target.
I think my team is here already, so they're writing the minutes down. But 90 days, I think we can do the AI bit where it becomes a lot more easy. The experience can become a lot more easy. The third part and the most important part is when there's a financial transaction. How do you give that sense of confidence and trust to the citizen? That yes, you're paying to the government, it is secure, and that is going to require a lot more sort of collaborative workshops, engaging citizens, giving them that comfort. So people are going to know how much they're due in terms of power bill or property taxes, but then some of them still are like, okay, I rather pay manually because we have to build a trust factor as we go. So I think that's the next focus area for us in terms of taking Manamitra 2.0.
2.0.
So we are at about 30% of us households using Manamitra, and we want to take this to 100%. So that's why we're going to back it with a sort of a door-to-door campaign to explain this to our citizens, and anyone who has a doubt, we can actually sort of give them an idea of how to use it, if required, do some use cases then and there.
That's awesome. But I want to go back to what you've said across multiple questions now, which is you keep the citizen at the center of it and then build for the, based on what the citizen wants. So AI, the same way, is an enabler for what the citizen, how easily the citizen could access services or, go about his day-to-day life, his or her day-to-day life. And I think that's also something that we think about a lot, which is how can we make WhatsApp more powerful for users and how can we make it simpler to use as well. And that's why AI, voice, conversational, conversations on WhatsApp, make it very easy versus, like you said, menu-based. So we love the idea as well of taking this to WhatsApp 2.0. I want to go to my next question, and you sort of alluded to it, which is 30% of households are already using Manamitra today. I think since the bot launched, more than 50 lakh people have used it in Andhra. I think as you think about Manamitra in terms of simplifying citizen services to government services, how do you, citizen access to government services, how do you think this has worked particularly for rural households, for women and for low literacy populations? Do you see a difference there?
No, definitely. I think, their willingness to sort of adapt to technology is always going to be at a different level. Urban will be ahead of the curve, rural will be the next one. But then sort of educating and giving this idea that yes, government services are available on the phone. So power of using Manamitra for farmers to understand, what are the government services that they're eligible. Or the second is when we actually do a scheme disbursement, sort of proactively reaching out to saying, this is what has happened, this is the money we've deposited, are you satisfied? Is there anything else that we can do? Or someone who didn't get benefit from that scheme can sort of raise a workflow and say that, I believe that I am eligible and I didn't get it. And all through their mobile device. So they don't need to go to an office or go to the local government center or the Mi Seva center in that sense. So they can do it from their phone.
Yeah.
And that has really transformed, the entire workflow. And it has enabled us to look at, okay, this is the grievance that's raised, and then how many of them got solved, at what point did they get solved. Because earlier they would still say, I want to verify you, so you come to my office. So we said, no, you can't do that. It has to be all online. Because it's all done through Aadhaar. There's a certain amount of safety, security that's actually in place, and that's what we have built out.
And I think the bit that you talked about, which is also the trust factor and the awareness, I think as time goes by, people will get a lot more comfortable as well. And with voice integrated, I think it also makes it a lot easier for people to access. But that's, it's pretty awesome. Sticking to the theme of services, what services have you seen have the highest uptake on Manamitra? We saw the video. There's everything from temple booking to getting certificates to getting hall tickets. And what measurable improvements have you actually seen? So in terms of either fewer office visits, faster turnaround time, something took 5 months, now you get it instantly. Citizen satisfaction, you measure that with feedback. What are some hard metrics that you've actually seen move, and what do people use the most?
Utility payments is one service that is used widely. Second is the service around hall tickets, getting to know about your examination results. That's something that's really widely used by citizens at large. So, for us, every service is important, whether it's high velocity or low velocity. Because again, keeping the citizen as center of a universe, if they have a problem, we are here to solve that. Or if they need a solution, we need to go find that. So, and we've seen that gradually our scores improving. So citizen satisfaction improving while they've used these services. And wherever we've been sort of rated low, we've used a mechanism to reach out to them and understand why have you rated as low, so how can we do this better? So that sort of a iterative process and closing the loop has really helped us sort of improve services as we go. But then, with all fairness, all this works if you have a very integrated and a tight data lake, as we call it in Andhra. The data lake is going to be very critical. If your data sets are disjoint, this project is not going to be successful at all. So that's going to be very, very critical for states that are looking at scaling it up beyond first 100, 150 services.
So if you want to get to the 900, then it really becomes important. And I guess that's a parallel sort of track where you're continuing to invest in fidelity of that data lake and what's in it.
Absolutely. So data lake is going to be very, very critical. Two, I think this provides an opportunity even for policymakers and the bureaucrats in the room is to question every process. So that's the approach that we've started to take. We said, okay, one, we brought everything online, great. But did we bring a broken system and made it online? How far is it truly delivering real time? That's where we said, no, let's do process re-engineering. So if X takes 10 steps, chalo, what are the 4 steps that I can throw out of the window? How can we make this a lot more proactive rather than reactive? You know, there's some certificates which we say that you apply and then we deliver. So my challenge to the team is, why should they even apply? It should be there. With the power of AI, it actually can be done. And the rule engine is quite straightforward in that sense. So that's where we've sort of relooked at the entire process. So a great example of this is caste certificate. So it's a weird thing that you need to apply periodically for a caste certificate. I said, no, we should not do that. There should be a framework where once delivered, it's done. Put it on a QR code where track and trace exists, blockchain. So we know who issued the certificate, when did they issue the certificate. So if there's any legal recourse also, it's clear. So that's where we've done all this. And then, of course, we need to ensure that the entire regulatory framework is also in place. That gives it a bit more, which is more binding in nature.
In fact, I was just sharing with Lokeshji that I was talking to somebody at Meta who's a very senior person in the company, and they wanted it for their country. So they were like, how do we not have it in our own country in Europe? This is someone in Europe, and they were like, this is awesome. But back to what you just said, I think that's been our experiences across all states, which is the process re-engineering, putting what takes 10 steps, can we do it in 6, and then using WhatsApp as a forcing function to deliver that. So like I said, we're just a platform where you can deliver this, but using this opportunity also to re-engineer some old processes.
I think that's very, very important. And as India goes about this journey of digitization, it's very important that we relook at everything. Because honestly, in certain areas, we've done digitization, but I think we've ruined certain systems. So there are enough of examples of where I feel that yes, we've digitized it, but we seem to have gone backwards.
Yes.
We made citizens' lives a lot more difficult. So it's very important that now every one of us sort of question, why is this taking so many steps? Why should it take so much time? So I jokingly tell my secretary, my IT secretary, that the day we make a politician and a bureaucrat irrelevant in day-to-day lives of a citizen, then we have succeeded. That's my simple thumb rule. I said that's when we've succeeded, we've done something right, and we've done sort of service to our great nation.
It's really inspiring to see all the work we're doing with states in the country. And like I said, I think we're the first to do it in India globally, so that gives us also a lot of satisfaction. At least I believe. I don't know if I'm right on that, but I think we have the best. I think you touched upon a little bit on the lessons that you've learned. If for this audience, what do you think from your experience, can help everyone in this room inform similar rollouts in other states or even nationally? And if you had to prioritize and pick 2 or 3 things, what would they be that we'll need to address first? I think you talked about process simplification, a few more. But if you had to pick 3 things and give that as advice to this group, what would that be?
Honestly, in India, every state has its own unique challenges. So I think it'll be unfair for me to sort of tell what other states should do. But as far as Andhra is concerned, why were we able to achieve what we've achieved? One, we have a robust data lake that has enabled us to sort of onboard all the services. The second is the political will, where from our chief minister all the way down believes in this project. It becomes a strategically important project. And for us, it was an electoral promise. For me personally, it was my promise during my Padayatra, my walkathon. So there's a lot of emotion, value that we've invested into this project and to see it succeed. And then time and again, it's very important to go back and reiterate the importance of this. Because then there's always a fatigue that sort of creeps in, and departments have different priorities. But it's important that political leadership also ensures that this is on top of the priority of every department, and where they understand its importance. And that's where I think Andhra has managed to get both of it relatively right. I wouldn't say we're perfect, but I believe that we are in the right trajectory. And I think a year from now, we would have a model that I believe is close to perfection.
That's awesome. Thank you. This was such an inspiring, just sitting and listening to how I know we partnered very closely on this, but even listening to how you sort of made this a reality, and now it's 900 services and counting, and it's in your state budget, and how you're thinking about rolling it out with the citizen at the center of it and deploying AI. I think it's really inspiring to hear. We have many more examples here in the room also who are doing incredible work. You saw some of it in the presentation, but it's something that delights us as well, that, that WhatsApp can play a role in helping you reach your citizens. So thank you so much, sir. Really appreciate this, and thank you so much for your time and your sponsorship.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate it, Sandhya.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Shri Nara Lokesh ji and Ms. Sandhya Devanathan, thank you so much. That was very insightful, very forward-looking. I request you to be on stage to stay back for a few pictures and a small token of appreciation.